Take a look with me at the most promising upcoming simulation, tycoon, and management strategy games in 2023 and beyond, and learn why these might just become your new all-time favorites. One of the most beloved spaceflight simulation games of the past decade was certainly Kerbal Space Program, and its sequel promises nothing short of a grand-scale upgrade across the board with many highly demanded features. I would say the biggest ones are colonies, interstellar travel, and multiplayer. These new colonies come with fresh challenges for the player, not only because of the resources required for extra structures, space stations, and habitats, but also because of the actual physics of getting there in the first place. This is where interstellar travel comes in, giving you a way to reach new star systems and celestial bodies, where fresh problems wait to be solved and secret treasures to be found. Some of these include Char, a heat-blasted world of iron, Owen, a ringed super-Earth with massive gravity, Rusk and Rusk, a binary pair locked in a dance of death. There is little info on how the multiplayer is going to work, but modding is going to be an integral part as before. Beyond these major additions, new environments, parts, and visuals are also promised, along with a fully remapped UI and map view. New players will be welcomed with animated tutorials, so the barrier for entry into this wacky and yet very realistic simulation should drop a few notches. If you prefer building stuff that flies back on solid ground, then Park Beyond should be your roller coaster builder and amusement park manager of choice. You will even find a complete, story-driven campaign mode which will ease you into the role of a newly hired visionary architect at a struggling theme park company. There are a few other characters which join you on the ride, pun intended, to lead the company to success and profits. Once you master the basic concepts and start building proper rides that draw in the big bucks, you can test your creative limits in the sandbox mode. There you use innovative modules to easily create unique rollercoaster rides with thousands of combinations and test some really outlandish ideas from over-the-top R&D department. Maintaining the happiness of your visitors will be your ultimate goal, and the user interface will help you figure out how to maximize that metric with extended feedback on your creations and park's business side. You will be able to follow visitor trends, create unique shop designs, recruit and manage staff, set the marketing budget, and invest in R&D. A very different kind of a ride and train business awaits the managers among you who like a more historical setting. This is because Railway Empire 2 is set in the early 1800s, when the main workhorse of the economy was the steam engine. And there you get to choose from 60 detailed engines and equally detailed maps of the USA and Europe for your future Empire playground. You will be able to play with one of 6 different characters, each having their unique strengths and weaknesses, in 5 different campaigns and 14 specific scenarios. You can also customize your own free play mode or just relax in the construction mode and test out the automatic terrain adjustment. This feature makes the land adapt to your track layout, letting you set totally new routes over mountains, valleys, and plains to connect cities and optimize your rail network. Additionally, elements such as signals will be placed automatically, while you will edit train bridges that can hold up to 4 tracks, as well as stations which can have double that count. A more cinematic feature is one that lets you ride inside these steam engines as a passenger in the wagons or in the front seat of the driver's compartment. Going back much further into the past, we have Age of Gladiators Reforged, which is a remake of the original indie gem from 2016. It is, as you can guess by its name, a management game about gladiator combat in the arenas across the ancient Roman Empire. If you have a favorite game or movie about ancient Rome, please share it with us in the comments. Your job here is to manage these fighters, help them increase in skill level as well as fame, and turn them from slaves and the like into future champions of the sands. Starting from recruitment using scouts, you track the progress of your gladiators on all levels: their morale, abilities, personality traits, injuries, fatigue level, and weapon specialties. These stats will change with gladiators' age, depending on if they are in their prime or declining. You will have help from your staff, and besides scouts, you will hire doctors, trainers, and blacksmiths. Another important stat is gladiator fame, gained in each battle, and even leading into the Hall of Fame after they retire or die. In the bigger picture, you will have the market for trade of items and even gladiators themselves, quests and missions to sabotage other bosses, rob treasuries, kidnap enemy fighters, and even assassinate your debt holders if you get in over your head. 2023 will of course not lack for games looking to twist the hugely successful formula of Satisfactory and pull some fans their way. Foundry is just one of these games, and what it will do differently is to let you loose on an endlessly procedurally generated and destructible voxel world. This means every time you start a new game, you will find yourself in a different world in which you can destroy each and every block you see. In their stead, you can then place new terrain or buildings to shape the world into a new form. So, factory building with total terraforming is the unique aspect of this game. Conveyor belts and networks of pipes along huge mines and factories remain the staple of this gameplay, as well as generating and maintaining the huge power requirements of these construction projects. Research of new tech is another gameplay feature, but what is more important is that the multiplayer in Foundry will have an offline mode through LAN networking, with gameplay optimized for 2 to 4 players. If the prospect of multiplayer factory building isn't exciting to you, how about being a solo manager and CEO of a casino hotel? In this simulation manager, fittingly called Casino Resort Tower, your job is to both construct and make profitable an ever-expanding and rising gambling kingdom crammed into a single skyscraper. As the CEO, you are in charge of everything here, from the troublesome employees and transportation of guests to planning restaurant stockpiles and menus. There is also the hotel side business of your casino resort, where you organize entertainment events. However, the main income will be from the casino floor, and you will have to guard it against cheaters. Guests will want a variety of games like roulette, card games, slot machines and dice games, but also Keno, Bingo and even fortune wheels. The building side is equally complex, as you start with a basic shell of a structure and plan your new casino room by room with water, electricity, internet and sewage systems. Then add furniture, windows, wallpapers, lights and decorations, which all require maintenance and cleaning by staff you have to recruit and oversee. If you prefer more combat in your simulation games, let us then look at Capital Command. In this sci-fi space game, you are the captain of a single but powerful warship which arrives at the frontier outpost only to find that the local AI has gone rogue and it is destroying everything in sensor range. It's up to you to try and dismantle his fleet of warships in a procedurally generated campaign which will be different every time you start a new playthrough. To command the ship, you first give orders to its crew of navigators, gunners, repair teams and engineers. They will follow these, aiming massive weapons from artillery and missile pods to point defense turrets while flying the ship in all 6 directions. This means you play in a full 3D environment. Damage control teams will repair hit sections as you engage enemy ships, but you can personally prioritize repairs of specific systems depending on your ship's situation. In the aftermath of these battles, the scrap salvaged is used to repair and upgrade your ship, but you can also take over an enemy ship and switch to it. There will also be custom battles for you to practice and learn how to better command such warships. Now, some might argue that a business enterprise has to operate just as tightly as a warship, and we can test that idea in Potion Tycoon. Here, you not only have to build your own shop, fit it with equipment for production, sale, research and staff comfort, but also design your own potions, market them properly, manage all the employees, and satisfy cranky or demanding VIP customers. As you develop your own magic shop, you design bottles for potions, order different ingredients, pick the right prices, research new items to build, and experiment with new potion recipes, all in the effort of growing your business in these magical lands of wizards, knights and rogues. You can expand your shop vertically and horizontally, fill it with nice furniture and curios so shoppers will enjoy their visits, engage in competitions with other potion makers, guard your reputation from unhinged VIPs, and level up your staff, which will require pay raises or they will pick up and leave. When everything is oiled up and working properly, it looks easy, but trust me, it's definitely not, as I have played its demo. But I cannot say the same thing about this next game, as it hasn't had a public demo yet, but let me tell you what I learned about it so far. I Am Future is a game with a large mix of elements, those being survival, building, management, and exploration. If you already have a favorite game of this kind, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Here you are a lone survivor of an apocalypse humans brought down onto themselves as they fought not just for advancement, but also transcendence. You wake up in a sunken city with a cyborg hand and have to scrape by to survive. The only safe places remaining are the rooftops of skyscrapers. This is where you build a home for yourself, one tool, workbench and drone at a time. You can upload artificial intelligence into buildings to have someone to talk to. Fishing and gardening provide the food, and if you don't want to become a meal yourself, you have to learn to defend your base against highly evolved natural predators. They will hunt you as you explore the sunken city and try to find out how exactly civilization crumbled. If you are more of a space fan like me, then you might be interested in what ILL Space has to offer. It is a sci-fi space station builder and survival manager with real-time combat in the form of defense against waves of enemies. As for what ILL stands for, it's International Long-Haul Logistics, and it's all part of the overall story. You will get to build, research, mine, trade, expand, and defend your space station from an alien infestation and the ever-present asteroids of all shapes and sizes. The station itself is highly modular and spans all three axes, but that makes defending it all the more difficult. This is why you get to build different kinds of cannons, lasers, and missile defense systems on specific hull mounts. The building materials are all around your station, and you can rotate about as well as fly it closer to major asteroids to mine them. Research and energy are gained through building specialized modules, while you will have to maintain your own crew and space station hull by being a responsible and efficient space station manager. But for the managers among you who dislike the space and sci-fi setting, here is a Tycoon which is much more down to earth. One military camp. As the name gives away, it is about first building and then running a military camp full of raw recruits you are to train into fine soldiers. After looking at their stats, you get to pick your new arrivals and plan out the development of their physical and tactical abilities. Once they train and learn those, you can send them into dangerous missions worldwide to conquer territory, gain resources, and win favor of the nearby population, almost like in Evil Genius. And just like in that game, here too, enemy spies and drones will try to sabotage your camp. Naturally, there are many different buildings you will need to construct to create the highly specialized training courses you need to put your recruits through. These can also be upgraded and additional courses unlocked. The other basic needs, like food and sleep, are also things you need to worry about and make sure to build enough additional structures for, no matter if you're playing in the campaign or sandbox mode. And a huge sandbox experience is exactly what is on offer in Space Train. This is a massive indie space sim and strategy game project which has everything from manual ship flying and combat over fleet battles to management of a private space corporation. There is a whole galaxy map on which you can claim sectors for your faction and fight for their control against other corporations. Just like in the X game series, you start with a single ship, learn how to control it, customize its weapon loadout and win space duels, while completing various contracts for different factions, earning credits and reputation along the way. Then as you buy new ships and customize them, you begin to control a whole fleet and commit to new tasks in a different playstyle, by issuing orders from an RTS-like tactical overview. But if you want to get your joystick dirty, you can jump into any of your ships and fly it manually. Other features include modular damage on ships, dynamic traffic in sectors, and actual detection mechanics instead of a god mode we usually see in similar games. Now, a totally different set of gameplay elements is found in Sengoku Dynasty. This is basically a first-person village and community builder set in the war-torn feudal Japan, which can be played cooperatively. Some will find it similar to Medieval Dynasty, and with good reason. You take on many roles here, from the leader and skillful craftsman to the famed warrior and spiritual master. We are told to expect engaging NPCs in this world, ability to make alliances, and complete quests to expand our village's influence. There should also be room for romance, having a family, and managing additional villagers. Naturally, this kind of gameplay involves spending a lot of time gathering resources, crafting items, but also making offerings to gods and mastering weapon techniques with melee and ranged weapons in preparation to defend your villages. Here too, we should get both a story and a sandbox mode to play in, as well as different biomes all across feudal Japan. Similarly ambitious game, but with a somewhat different gameplay, is Survive the Fall. It is an open world game which combines action and RPG elements with building settlements in a post-apocalyptic world. You take on the role of one of the survivors who has to fight on in this changed world with the help of allies you find along the way. Other survivors might turn out to be scavengers who are just after your gear and meal, so there is combat as well. As you explore your surroundings, you gather resources, valuable artifacts, craft weapons and items, but also try to take a moment and enjoy the sights and sounds of a world almost devoid of humans. As you get on with building your new settlement, it will start to generate new resources for you and your small team. Some members you will want at your side in different missions, while the rest can be left to tend and defend your new base. No matter where they are, their health and condition will still be your responsibility. If you want to keep them alive and well, despite the lack of medicine and doctors, you should employ stealth and sneaking along with close-quarter combat. Since I know a lot of you prefer the peaceful games these strategy subgenres offer, I want to present Blooming Business Casino. This game lets you design, build and run the coolest casino you can imagine in a busy and active world full of colorful and cute animal characters. Your goal here is to maximize visitor satisfaction and happiness with your venues while juggling their increasingly complicated demands. Some of them will be unique VIP guests with special backstories and similarly special needs, goals and desires which you have to learn in order to make their stay enjoyable for them and profitable for you. An integral part of a successful establishment like this is the staff that runs it. You have to manage them carefully as they will directly impact guest satisfaction with your casino. The design and style of the interior is of equal importance. You can customize it using many different items and decorations unlocked using the market research tree. There are many types of slot machines, card tables and all the other casino staples which will attract everyone, from tourists and police officers to mobsters. Another builder, which is played from the first or third person perspective I should mention, is Wild West Dynasty. You can guess the setting from its name and you won't be disappointed as it features farms, cattle, horseback riding, gold digging and a full town with saloons, merchants, gambling, adventurers and gunslingers. There will be a story to play out in dozens of missions with the promise of branching dialogue and consequences for the player as well as combat against bandits. The environments in which you will play are quite large and open, hiding different dangers, treasures and secrets in abandoned mines and cave systems. The world itself holds survival elements in the form of scorching midday temperatures and freezing cold nights. You yourself start in the Wild West Dynasty as a simple settler, build your own ranch and expand it all the way to a prosperous town along with your own dynasty. This is where the management side of gameplay takes over, with allocating workers and managing resources as well as trade routes so your settlement can prosper and get on the map big time. All these elements are similar to what Full Metal Sergeant offers, but just in a very different way. Here you are back to your god view from above, managing the lives of instructors and soldiers in a mix of Tycoon and Military School Simulator. Your main tool for development of your recruits into soldiers is your training schedule, which you will have to design around their human limits expressed in stamina and stress levels. Push them too hard and instead of seeing them graduate and earn your school prestige points, you will watch them fail and break down. These prestige points are necessary for unlocking more effective advanced training schedules and courses. For example, your troops can become riflemen, divers, snipers or paratroopers. The game will also include challenge competitions with other schools and academies as well as missions with different encounters to give your trainees real-world experience. Now I want to show you another Tycoon game, Food Truck Empire. As with most such games, you first start small, a single vintage mobile kitchen, more like a rust bucket, a few basic recipes, mini HQ, and a few locations to visit in several districts which hold different people who have specific tastes. Then as you personalize, customize, and optimize your original food truck, make some new recipes and lots of profits, you start expanding. You also redesign your HQ, add new departments, and unlock fancy new ways to make people fall in love with your street food. You send out new mobile kitchens to the fancy downtown and dirty old industrial district with different menus optimized for maximum income. There is a whole simulated country in this game with several different cities across the United States. To conquer them all with your food empire, you must first design the best food truck layouts which allow your staff to maximize their efficiency. On top of that, you invest in the best equipment to crush your competition and dominate the market, or simply undercut their prices along with superior service and quality until they all go out of business. Our next game is similar to a point, but it's executed quite differently. Nivalis lets you grow your business made up of restaurants and nightclubs, but you can also make friends and enemies, buy and decorate apartments, go fishing, and find love. This place is a full-on cyberpunk city complete with organ harvesting gangs, evil corporations, and an ocean ready to swallow the whole city. The simulation includes realistic weather and night and day cycles, as well as supposedly strange and diverse characters. Here too you start small, with a food, noodle stand or steam store. Then when you learn where to get ingredients, how to cook unique dishes and mix cocktails, you can upgrade to a bar, restaurant and ultimately a nightclub. It is a very ambitious project which has a great setting, and I hope its developers manage to pull off even half of what I just told you about. Another equally ambitious project looks like a more serious version of Sid Meier's Pirates, minus all the dancing, sword fights and landings. If you played it and liked those, let me know down in the comments. Rise of Piracy is more about growing a full fleet of big and well-armed warships to trade, fight, pillage, destroy and or conquer in a handcrafted world. In its campaign, which has a dynamic difficulty, you will start with a small ship and work your way through missions to find treasure, build your economic strength and relations with other factions. Once your cargo hold overflows with gold coins, you can buy a fleet of ships and crew them all with new recruits. Then you start going for the big prizes, like defeating colonial fleets in grand-scale naval warfare and capturing whole islands, after first bombarding them into submission. You can take up the honest trade of buying and selling 200 different commodities, or go on a pirate rampage. There is a diplomacy system, a way to talk to mayors and captains to learn new secrets, hunting bounties, and lots more. Now, here is a totally underused idea, if we don't count the movie Mortal Engines or the recent Wandering Village game. A survival builder on a machine in constant motion which travels through different biomes with a bunch of humans trying to defend it and themselves from a zombie horde. It is simply called Survival Machine, and the art style is quite colorful while it's played in the third-person mode solo or in co-op. Beyond resource collection and item crafting for your character, you build a full base on this moving machine and upgrade it with stuff like better engines or iron cast cannons for defense. Every biome you travel through will have different challenges for you and specific available resources. Forests, deserts, tundra, your machine will see you through all of it, while you can jump off at any time and explore these places on your own. Just watch out for the ever-hungry zombies waiting to make you their next meal. Raccoon Crafts Factory is quite different, but offers a lot of familiar gameplay elements. Here, literally as the title says, you play the raccoon who builds automated factories within an endless 2D world. These grow in complexity as you produce more and more items, while combining already available building and machine elements. After you land on this new world, your first job is to extract resources by mining ore from the environment, refine and use them to research new tech, dig down and create both infrastructure and automated factories to produce everything your raccoon brethren will need once they follow you to this planet. Another game concept that is great but so rare is building a pizza restaurant empire. I know only of one game franchise like it, but if you know any more, please tell me in the comments. Pizza Empire is set in the New York during the 90s, mafia and criminal organizations from that time included and part of gameplay. The city itself, like any good pizza, is divided into separate areas, each with different customers who have different likes, expectations, and tastes. You can ally yourself with one of the mentioned criminal organizations or shun the criminals, but in that case make friends with the police or hire extra security. The look and feel of the restaurant is also up to you by choosing its furniture and location within the different sections and blocks of the city. This next simulator is also city-based, but in the medieval times. Noble Life Kingdom Reborn is a game with several layers. As a noble who owns and controls large lands filled with villages and a central city, your family's seat, you will have your hands full as you rebuild during the 100 Years' War. Both collection of taxes and their use are your responsibility, just like organizing military conscription, calling in advisors, specialists, setting disputes between locals, and negotiating with the more notable organizations and their representatives. Oh, and did I mention balls, festivals, or tournaments? Yes, those do fall on your shoulders. If you ever need extra funds for all that, you can raid your neighbors' goods and gold, but expect them to fight back. So plan and pay for the construction of defenses, invest in fortifications, and prepare to fight in a siege. You will personally command troops, place archer positions, and send off mounted warriors in these battles. Developers have promised a lot, and I hope they deliver, just like with all the other games on this list. For more new games, use the cards on the screen. Thank you for watching, and happy gaming!